every week we bring you stories of athletes who inspire us.
Brian Mueller has the story of a Rio Americano volleyball player who battled a life-threatening illness before his first birthday.
You don't have to watch Tony Bierwirth long to see that the Rio Americano sophomore likes to turn up the volume in volleyball.
I yell a lot. I try to get the team ramped up, hyped up.
But as the Raiders' libero, he does a lot more than talk the talk.
He's always been this kind of wild and crazy, carefree kind of kid. And this position that they found for him allows him to just run around the whole court and dive for these balls. It's perfect for him.
The whole thing of volleyball for me is just fun. Getting your hands dirty, getting a couple bruises here and there, it's like, oh yeah, I worked for that, I did that.
But the bumps and bruises Tony has collected on the court this year are nothing compared to the scars of his past.
When he was 7 months old, he was diagnosed with this rare blood disease.
The condition is known as HLH, a potentially fatal disease where white blood cells attack the body's organs. Tony was in and out of the hospital for 2 years, getting regular treatments of chemotherapy, immunosuppressants, and steroids. Dennis and Casey trading shifts at the hospital to be with their son.
Life was pretty rough, pretty hard. And it is, I always say that it's a nightmare that you just didn't wake up from.
I can remember a day holding Tony in a rocking chair, looking at his skin color, his body color, turning dark. His body was physically turning dark. And that was reflective of his internal organs shutting down.
It was a period that Tony, thankfully, doesn't remember.
Getting told about this, I'm like, wow, did that really happen? Like, it's crazy. It's like, whoo, like that was a close call. Like that was close.
Close enough that without a bone marrow transplant, Tony would not be here today. The Bierwirths checked the bone marrow registry and didn't find a match. His older brother, Dominic, also didn't match, so they started donation drives to speed up the process.
It ultimately culminated with what I might say is a near perfect match found on the other side of the country.
That would be Eric Lobb in Pennsylvania, who saved Tony's life with a bone marrow transplant in December of 2007.
I just remember sitting there going, like just to breathe. It just felt so good. It's everything that we had been fighting for just came together, and we were so happy and so fortunate.
15 years later, Tony is thriving on the court and in the classroom at Rio Americano, enjoying life with his family and tight-knit group of friends. It's a life made all the more memorable thanks to a lesson learned from a time he doesn't remember.
It really teaches you to, be, appreciative and grateful for literally everything. So like just being able to be here, like looking at you doing this interview and all that cool stuff, like it was that close to not happening.
When you overcome beating death for the first 3 years of your life, what are all those other challenges really? He really takes challenges head on, and I think that's something he might have developed even though he may not know it. He might have developed that trait in the hospital, going through this ordeal, fighting his daily struggles.
But Tony has a different take on where he got his strength. He says it doesn't come from his own fight against the disease, but from the two people who fought for him.
I owe them everything, like everything. They fought so hard to do whatever they could. So in this sense, I think instead of getting the fighting sense from my big disease, I think I got it from them, actually.
The Bierwirths now hope their story inspires others to donate blood and bone marrow. It's a simple act that can have a life-changing impact.
It not only helped our son, but there's so many children that are out there that are dealing with these awful things that they shouldn't have to. You're saving a life. That's what you're really doing. You're saving somebody's life.
Reporting in Sacramento, Brian Mueller, 49ers Sac-hi Sports.
If you would like to be a blood or bone marrow donor, Vitalant is one of the centers you can contact in California, and you can find their information on the screen, and we will have a link to their website on the story's YouTube site.
Fantastic.